Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I just want to go over the swing trade that I took, really just an overnight hold on Amazon for an absolute home run trade in my Tastyworks account. We'll talk about the technical setup, what I was specifically looking at, and how I was able to really get a lot of conviction on this trade from the call flow that we were seeing coming in yesterday. I'm Tex. If you're new here, I share my journey and experiences with trading and investing in the stock market. Really appreciate you watching. Let's get started. Alright guys, so like I said, locking up an absolute home run trade in terms of my Tastyworks account, which I primarily use for swing trading. I have taken a couple of day trades on it, but because the account is under the PDT rule, obviously I am only limited to 3-day trades, so I try to reserve it for just swing trading. But yeah, you can see on Amazon here locking up $2,246.27, and like I said, that was just a home run trade in terms of this account because it was about a 40% increase in my account value on this one trade. So I did end up taking just one of the 3250 calls with this week's expiration. So why did I do this? Let's first of all start with the technicals. Here you can see on the hourly chart this explosive move on Amazon, and really just looks like it's going to go ahead and close strongly. But if we blow the chart up and go to a daily chart, I want to talk about why I felt so good about this setup and then how I was able to really get enough conviction to execute the trade when I did, based on also what I was seeing on the call flow side. So starting out with the setup, obviously Amazon has had this big run up, and so far it's been just kind of consolidating up here. It's a rather wide range of consolidation, you could say, but it essentially has been consolidating for about a month or so. And essentially when you see this, you see a stock that has a big run up, you can usually kind of expect that it's going to have one of two different corrections. It's either going to have a price correction or a time correction. So on Amazon, kind of had a little bit of both. I mean, you have this big run up and you have a decent pullback here, but it keeps holding up here, right? You can clearly see that it keeps holding up here. And so the longer that it just kind of consolidates up here, you are essentially looking at a time correction. And the longer that that happens, the more explosive the move will usually be whenever it does finally break out or break down. In this case, I really loved it, obviously, for the breakout, and really the trigger for this, especially for a day trade, is you typically have a downtrend line like this. This is your flag, and the trigger is the break of the flag with volume and momentum coming in, and you would really expect, especially with that long time consolidation, that you're going to get a nice explosive move. Now, I actually got in a little bit early. Like I said, I got in yesterday when I noticed that Amazon was pushing up to the high of day into the close. So it was looking good for a strong close. And in addition to that, we saw an incredible amount of call flow coming in. So I have yesterday's call flow here, and you'll notice that there is a lot of weeklies coming in. Like, in other words, this week's expiration, 8/21, which is this Friday, you have the 3,200 calls coming in, 3,240, 3,200, 3,210. 3250, 3250, 3240, 3240. So that's a decent amount of money coming in on the call flow on Amazon. So obviously, some smart money is obviously believing that Amazon's going to make this move at some point this week. So given that, I decided to go ahead and open the position actually before the flag technically triggered. That way I could actually get a little bit better risk reward on it. And the target on this trade was very conservative for me. Now, ideally, you would hope to be targeting that 52-week high, which is obviously Amazon's all-time high, up around 33.40. But that's a pretty big move. I mean, even today, you can see that it hasn't quite been able to make it. There is also a little bit of a caveat, and that is that the S&P is sitting right at its all-time high. Okay, so here's the S&P all-time high before the big correction in March. So with the S&P sitting right underneath that all-time high, there's obviously a little bit of increased risk. If the market does pull back dramatically, you really can't expect Amazon to break out and put in the kind of move that I was really looking for today. Fortunately, the S&P did hold up, and so we were able to get that move on Amazon today. And since I was positioned a little bit early, I was really able to get that explosive, move in the premiums. So really what I was targeting on the trade was around the 3240 to the 3250 area, and a couple of reasons. Amazon loves its whole and half dollars. You've also got some clear overhead resistance from all of these days that's sitting right around 3240 to 3250, and the upper Bollinger Band was sitting around 3250. So you'll notice that the kind of, let me zoom in a little bit for you. So this upper Bollinger Band has been really, really incredible in my back testing in terms of kind of looking for target zones. I don't look at it as necessarily a trigger for a trade, but an idea of where a stock might want to go to if it does break out. And so that was sitting up around 3250. And before today's move, where it's kind of pointing upwards now, you'll notice it was just kind of flatlined right up here around 3250. So again, I was really conservative on the target. 3240 to 3250 is what I was looking at. So after I executed the trade, let me go back to the window here. So you'll notice that I pulled the trigger yesterday. I got filled on the 3250 call at $17.77. And I did the calculations to determine about what the option premium would be worth if Amazon reached that 3240 to the 3250 area. And according to the calculations, it should have been around $38, maybe $40 and change. So I threw an order out at $38 last night, made it good till canceled. That way, just in case it really kind of just exploded up into that level, I didn't miss the opportunity to get filled, because the spreads on Amazon can be pretty wide sometimes. And I find that it's actually really good to throw orders out above the market and kind of let it come to you. Well, the volatility off the open was just incredible on Amazon, and it literally exploded right into my order relatively quickly. What time I got filled 6 minutes after the open at 9:36 Eastern time, 8:36 my time. So 6 minutes after the open, I got filled on the order. And, I mean, what's kind of the kicker about it is if we look at the 3250 calls right now, they're trading around $80. So it's a little bit of a crappy feeling to realize that, man, I left a lot of money on the table. But at the same time, that's really just greed speaking, and we have to be very careful about that, because the reality of the situation is that I literally just grew my swing trade account by 40% with one trade. So that alone is absolutely incredible, and definitely a home run trade. So I didn't necessarily expect that the volatility would explode that great. I realized that the 3240 to that 3250 area would probably be a little bit of resistance, and it might actually struggle there. So if I had to do it over again, I would do the same thing, because it makes complete sense that you should be targeting that. Ideally, you have another contract so that you can hold for that bigger move, for that even bigger home run trade up to that all-time high. So again, unfortunately, with the size of my account, I already put on a huge amount of risk just taking one contract. So I couldn't really take two contracts. So all in all, I cannot be upset with the trade. It was a solid trade, both from a technical standpoint and with the conviction of the call flow that we saw coming in. And then today, the call flow was just absolutely insane. That really just gave you the absolute conviction that you needed. As soon as Amazon exploded, they were coming in with the 3,300 calls, the 3,400 calls, which obviously is well above that 52-week high. So I think Amazon definitely has more in it. There's a real shot that it will probably hit that 52-week high by tomorrow, unless the market really falls apart. So it was a little bit tricky. The SPY did have kind of a pull this morning. Sorry, that square here. So the SPY hit its all-time high this morning and had this nice pull down to the previous low, and has since recovered, and looks like so far it's trying to close up near that all-time high. So all in all, very, very happy with the day. There's some good plays looking for tomorrow. Netflix is perking up. Netflix is looking pretty interesting. Kind of looking at the daily chart, it's breaking out above those moving averages, and it has a lot of room up to the 500 to the 509 area, that upper Bollinger Band. So definitely going to be watching Netflix tomorrow. But all in all, I can't complain about that. Just wanted to go over the trade with you. Hopefully it's helpful. Like I said, anytime you have a macro picture idea like that on something that's been consolidating for a long period of time, and you get the trigger of the breakout move, the momentum comes in, those are when you really want to be aggressive and really swing for the fences, because those types of trades can make your entire month sometimes. So hopefully it was helpful to you guys. I really appreciate you watching, as always. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave those below. I always enjoy hearing from those, and I'm always happy to help. So take care, guys. Until next time, see ya.